Waitress, I'll take an Asgardian ale.
No problem, honey. Would you like anything else?
Well, there's only one thing I want.
Oh, really? And what might that be, handsome?
Well, there's something I need. Something I really need.
Tell me, please.
Okay, I'll tell you. All I want is chunks.
What?
So I'm off on a chunk hunt. See you later.
Wait.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Chunk Hunt. I'm so glad to see you again. So where we left off, we had just unlocked the chunk in Western Falador and got ourselves an easy clue scroll. Now we're going to be completing that clue scroll very soon, don't you worry. But there's a couple of things that I want to get done before we leave Falador. A lot of you did comment on the last video and you mentioned that I really should have picked up a mace from Flynn, as their attack speed has actually been increased to a 4-tick weapon now, making it on par with the scimitar, and as it gives you a prayer bonus and a much faster attack speed than the battle axe, it is actually going to be worthwhile us picking up this adamant mace. So let's grab one of those, and we can't wield it yet, but that's okay because we are going to be training up our combat skills again this episode. So we'll pop that in the bank and it's going to be there ready and waiting for us as soon as we hit level 30 attack. Secondly, I have had a few questions and a few comments regarding music tracks, as in the last episode we required a music track in order to complete a clue step, and that music track was locked behind a quest, so we completed the quest in order to unlock that music track. And there was a few questions regarding that, as music tracks is something that I didn't really mention in the first episode when it came to rules and exceptions. So just to make things a little bit clearer, I've added a section into the rules which you can find linked in the description below just to address music tracks. So basically, music tracks are unlocked passively by walking around the game, and we will unavoidably unlock tracks when we enter locked chunks to complete clue steps. And that could be considered us gaining progress on the account through locked chunks, which is against the rules. However, as we need to walk through locked chunks in order to complete clue steps, we are going to unavoidably unlock those music tracks. So the rule for music tracks is kind of like an extension of the quest rule. If we get presented with a clue step that requires us to have a music track, which we don't currently have unlocked, then we are allowed to go and unlock that music track as long as we have all the stats that are required to go and do so. As an example, if a music track is locked behind a quest, as long as we have all the stats to complete that quest, then we can go and get that music track. We won't be getting any other progress in any of the chunks along the way, exactly the same as the rules for questing. And I just think that that rule is going to keep things a little bit more consistent, and it will answer any questions that we have about music track steps that come up in the future. So let's get started, and we've got a lovely easy clue that we got at the end of the last episode. And the first step is in Al-Kharid. Perfect. Let's get going. Okay, so the recording of me completing clue steps actually got screwed up, but we have made it to the end of the treasure trail, and the casket has been obtained right here, just behind the wizard's tower. And that means we've unlocked the first chunk for the episode. This chunk actually is quite good for us because it's going to allow us to complete the imp catcher quest. There's imps in lots of different chunks that we've already got unlocked, so we can go on a little bit of an imp hunting spree, collect all of their beads, and then come back for a nice bit of magic experience. So that's something we're definitely going to be doing at some point. Another awesome thing about this chunk is that we can return here using a necklace of passage, which is only a level 2 enchant, and it's only made out of emerald and silver jewelry, so it's really not that far out of our reach. Anyway, let's open up this casket and see what's inside. Okay, so overall not great. I mean, these studded chaps are pretty nice. When we do get level 20 range, we'll have full studded in the bank, so that's kind of cool. Other than that though, not great. So the other cool thing about the Wizard's Tower chunk is that it links up directly with Draenor Village, which we've already got unlocked. And that means that if we can get ourselves a Necklace of Passage, we basically got free and unlimited teleports into Draenor Village. So now that we're back in Draenor, we need to try and make use of the chunk before we leave. And I'm thinking that the best thing we can really do here right now is to kill the Dark Wizards. We've already got a Black Wizard hat, but it would be nice to get a magic body upgrade, and they drop the Dark Wizard robe. They also drop easy and beginner clues, so I think we can just go ahead and kill them until we get our next clue. We've actually gotten pretty lucky so far on this account, as far as clue scroll drops go anyway. So we're definitely due a dry streak, and that means we're probably going to get a fair bit of combat XP here before we move on. But that's totally fine with me, as we could really use the runes that they drop, as well as hopefully that wizard top. Alright, here we are, time for a wizard massacre. Actually, I don't know why I'm not wearing the magic hat, because that'll give us some boat. Oh my god. First clue. Alright, okay, first kill, and we get a beginner. Cool. I guess we're leaving straight away. Spooned, right? Cool. So that was a pretty short trip. Let's just have a look and see where this one's going to take us. Okay, hot and cold step, we can do that. Alright, west of the Champions Guild. Let's have a little dig. And there's another casket, boys. And that means we've unlocked another chunk. And this one has the potential to be really important. So this chunk unlocks our first mining spot and also the Champions Guild. Both super important unlocks. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a pickaxe with me. And as this chunk is locked off on all sides, I don't have a way to train mining. Technically, I could go back to Drainer Village and buy a Chronicle and use the teleport from that to get us to the Champions Guild. However, there's a few different locations that it can teleport you to, some of which are in the chunk that is still locked. So because there's a chance that it will take us to a locked chunk, I'm not going to be using that teleport. I guess I should bring some generic tools with me to every clue step that I do, just in case something like this happens. Pretty annoying that I can't make use of it right now, but we know for next time, so that's okay. Now, the Champions Guild is amazing because if we can somehow get ourselves 32 quest points, we've basically unlocked some rune and d'hide gear, so that'll be a really useful place to come back to later. Anyway, let's take a look inside this casket and see what we get. It would be pretty sick if we got a black pickaxe, because that would solve the mining problem. Let's open it up. Well, that's pretty unfortunate, but at least we got a couple of alkaballs, so overall not too bad, especially for a beginner clue. So as there isn't really anything we can do in this chunk, I want to get right back to clue hunting, and luckily there's a mugger here who has the exact same drop table as men and women, just like so many other NPCs do. So he can drop us an easy or a beginner clue, and once we get that, we'll be moving on. So let's show the mugger what it's like to get mugged. You know, I'm also thinking about canoe transport, and there is a canoe station slightly into the locked chunk just to the east of us. Now, if we travel from Lumbridge to this canoe station, it will actually put us into our unlocked chunk when we arrive here. So technically we wouldn't be in a locked chunk, but I think that as the actual canoe station is in the Forbidden Zone, it wouldn't really be in the spirit of the challenge if we used it just now. So, oh my, what? Okay, looks like we're going on another clue hunt. How have we been so spooned? We've been doing like 2 kills. Okay, well, I guess we're done with this chunk for now then. That was 2 kills for another clue scroll. That's a drop of 1 out of 90. I can't believe how lucky we're getting so far this episode. Okay, let's open up the clue and see where it's going to take us. Panic at Alcarid Mine. There's a joke there to be made, but I'm not going to be the one to make it. Alright, here we are. So with emote clues, a lot of people will go and stand on the exact square that Runelight highlights, but as long as you're actually in the vicinity of the location it says on the clue, then you can activate it anywhere. So I'm going to save a bit of time and summon Uri here instead of going all the way to the bottom of the mine. And it looks like we're off to Hans in Lummi. I really hope we don't get the casket here because we won't unlock any new chunk, which would be pretty unfortunate. Hans, my dude, let's see another clue. I don't want a casket, please. Well, that kind of sucks. We got the casket. I mean, it's still cool that we got a casket and we're going to get a bit of loot, but because this chunk was already unlocked, we don't get to unlock another chunk, which is unfortunate, but it's all part of the challenge. And we got a blue wizard hat and a black pickaxe. Nice. That clue was a bit of a disappointment, so we're wasting no time hunting for a new one. Goblins drop beginners at 1 in 64 and easies at 1 in 128, so let's see if we can get spooned again. Oh, there we go. Another clue scroll. How many was this? 12 kills. 12 kills, and we got another beginner clue scroll. What is this look today? Okay, I've got some tools out of the bank, so I'm ready to make use of whichever chunk we end up unlocking. So let's see where we're off to. Ah, it's an emote clue, and we need a gold ring and a gold necklace. I don't have the crafting, mining, or smithing level to make either of them. There is a jewelry shop in Port Sarim, but we can't get back there right now, and even if we could, the stock is all at 0. So it looks like we're going to have to drop this one. We're getting so lucky on the drops, but just not very lucky at all on the actual clue steps. Big rip for me, but we're not giving up. Those goblins are in for a bad time. Well, we've been fighting these goblins for 5 or 10 minutes, and we still don't have another clue. Can't believe we're so unlucky. Hey! Another beginner clue scroll. There we go. Let's get on with this then, boys, shall we? Let's keep going. Let's keep grinding out these clues. All right, our travels have brought us here to the Shanty Pass. Let's see what he's got to say. Well done. We've obtained the casket, boys. Okay, that's actually such a good chunk to unlock. So we've got a bank, we've got access to the magic carpet transport system, and most importantly, we've got Shanty's shop. Now, Shanty sells one very important item for us, but before we get into that, let's open up this casket and see what's inside. So nothing. I mean, there's a potential helmet upgrade with the steel full helm. Actually, never mind. It is basically exactly the same, except it just has one less range defense. And I ain't about to give up looking this good for a tiny upgrade like that. So Shanty can sell us bronze bars for 8 coins each, and this essentially unlocks smithing for us. We're going to be hopping worlds and buying enough of these for us to hit level 15 smithing, and I want 15 specifically because that's the level you need to complete the Charlie step where he wants you to make him an iron dagger. And that will be all of them. Thank you very much, Shanty. I appreciate your help, and I'll definitely be back here at some point. Wow, it sure is nice here in the desert. Everybody here is so nice and welcoming.
Huh, I guess I'll just let anyone in here.
It was nice to meet you. Alright, so before we leave the desert, we're gonna grab ourselves a pair of desert boots for that beautiful fashionscape upgrade. It might be a tiny defensive downgrade, but looking this fabulous is worth it. Okay, I think it's time we head back to Lumbridge and get on with our smithing grind. So I'm going to be smithing whatever I can out of bronze until I can make arrow tips, and from there we're just going to be making those until level 15. That way I can create a nice stockpile of arrows for when we train up our range. There's level 5 coming in, and there's level 6 smithing, and I've just realised that I now have the level to make arrow tips. I thought that it was level 7 for some reason. Anyway, before we do make any arrow tips, I'm going to make a set of bronze limbs because we can finally get a crossbow made now, and that's going to let us use up all of those bronze bolts that we get when we're fighting men and women. I know that a bronze crossbow and bronze bolts is not a good ranged weapon, but being an Iron Man with limited resources, I want to make use of everything that we get. Level 10, and that's level 15 smithing. We can now potentially complete one of Charlie the Tramp's beginner clue steps. We do still need to get level 15 mining, but at least we're making steps in the right direction. Now I've got another project I'd like to work on. So to make a crossbow, we need a set of limbs, a stock, and a crossbow string. We already have the limbs, and the stock we can easily make by fletching a regular log. The difficult part now is making the crossbow string. So you can make a crossbow string out of sinew, which comes from beef. But as the entrance to the cow pen isn't in any of our unlocked chunks, we're going to have a little bit of a problem there. We can range cows over the fence, but we are pretty far away from getting that level 33 magic to telegrab the beef. So what we're going to be doing is heading over to the edge of our chunk and hopping worlds until we find one where the gate is open. We're then going to try and lure a cow out of the forbidden zone into our chunk. And as long as we can kill the cow and get the drop in one of our unlocked chunks, then we can get that beef and turn it into sinew. Alright, here we are. So the gate is open, so all we really need to do is just wait for a cow to come outside of the gate, and then we can snipe it. Looks like this one's heading towards the gate. Oh no, he started moving back. God damn it. I was really getting no luck on that world, so we're hopping through some worlds. We're going to try and find a cow. Yes! Haha! And look at that. Cow achieved. And there's the first cow kill on the account. We got pretty lucky there. That didn't take too long at all. Let's just grab that raw beef. And if we cook this on the range in Lumbridge Castle... Oh no, we can't use it. We haven't done Cook's Assistant. Right, so that causes us some issues. We need to cook it on a range in order to make sinew, and I don't think there's any range in this chunk that we can actually use. Yeah, the closest one is over here and it's in the forbidden zone, so we're not going to be able to use that. God damn it. Right, we've come so far. I'm determined we are making this crossbow. So we're going to bank the beef for now. We're just going to keep that safe in the bank, and then we're going to hunt some more clues just on the off chance that where it takes us is going to allow us to cook this beef. And there's level 27 hit points. We're back hunting men and women for the clue scrolls that they drop, and we're gaining combat XP along the way, which is a good thing as we still need level 30 attack so we can wield our adamant mace. You gotta look on the bright side of things, you know? And the spoon strikes again. We have a beautiful, easy clue scroll lying on the floor. We're getting so lucky today with these clues. Now, let's open this up and see where we're going first, make sure we can complete it. Looks like we're heading to Ardoyne. Let's search the crate, and there's another clue. But unfortunately, it looks like we need a cowl, a blue wizard top, and an iron scimitar, none of which we have, so we're gonna have to drop it and get another one. Give me a clue. Thank you. Okay, we got a beginner. Let's see if we can get this one completed. Let's just pray for no Charlie steps, eh? So we're gonna spin in the mace shop in Falador. Hopefully we don't get the casket here because it would be a duplicate, but let's just see. And we get the casket. Now that's disappointing because we've already got this chunk unlocked, so what can we do about it? There's nothing we can really do there. But let's just open this one up and see what's inside. A cowl. That's cool, that's cool. Would have been nice to have a few clues ago, but never mind. So even though this is a duplicate chunk and we haven't really unlocked anything from that clue scroll, there is a silver lining, and that's that we can definitely sort out our sinew here. I hope the White Knights don't mind us using their range, but there is a piece of sinew. So there really isn't anything else that we need to do in Falador right now, but we have got some pretty important business in Lumbridge. And the moment of truth, we're going to spin this sinew into a beautiful crossbow string. I need 10 crafting to make that. No! Why did I not expect that to happen? I definitely knew that would happen. It looks like I've got a bit of thinking to do because I need to find a way of training crafting in this chunk. So we may not be able to craft ourselves a crossbow string, but we can craft balls of wool. And that's exactly what we're going to do because I'm pretty determined to make this crossbow now. I've invested myself into it and I just really want to get it done. So we're going to be crafting around 400 balls of wool. So we spent the last couple of hours running back and forth from the sheep pen to the spinning wheel, and as you can see we've got this tiny little corner of the sheep pen that we can use in our chunk. So we've been running back and forth, getting a little bit of wool. We're actually really close to the level now. I don't think we're going to need a full inventory. Let's have a look. Only 7 XP remaining, yeah, so this is definitely going to be enough. And here comes the level. Absolutely beautiful. Level 10 crafting has been achieved, and we can now make bowstrings and crossbow strings. You know what time it is. We're going to need a knife, an axe, our sinew, and our bronze limbs. So one more trip to the spinning wheel. Let's make ourselves a little crossbow string right here. Beautiful. We'll chop down this tree in the old palace courtyard and then fletch that into a standard crossbow stock. Beautiful. Now we can simply use the wooden stock on the limbs. Oh, we need a hammer for that. Okay, take 2. We can just use the wooden stock on the bronze limbs. And there's a beautiful unstrung bronze crossbow. And the moment of truth. Bloody lovely. Look at that. Look at that thing. Ugh. We look so good. Even though this is possibly the worst ranged weapon in the game, maybe, it still feels so good to have it. Making and achieving your own little goals like that is what RuneScape is all about. And now we can finally use up our bronze bolts. It's not going to be good range XP, but it's still going to be ranged XP. All right, we're geared up. We've got our bronze crossbow, 783 bronze bolts, and a lot of men who have potential clue scrolls for us. Let's get ourselves some range levels, shall we? And there's level 5 range. That's pretty nice. I think my goal for this training session is going to be level 20 range so that I can wear all my studded gear. That'd be pretty nice. Well, look at that on the ground right there. I wasn't even really hoping for any clue scrolls. I just wanted to train my range, but it looks like we cannot escape these clue scrolls. Okay, we've got all of our gear just in case we go to a locked chunk and we need to make use of it. So, spin in Falador. All right, here we are. I really hope that we don't get the casket here because that would be the third time we've got it in this chunk and it kind of makes it a waste of a clue. So let's spin. Talk to Uri and we've got a new clue. That's good news. That's good news. Where are we going next? Okay, another one I do not want the casket in. We're heading back to Lumbridge. All right, we need to clap in Bob's axes. And goddamn, we're so close to a different chunk. If only this was 2 squares over to the south, but it's not. So let's just hope we don't get the casket here because again, it would be a duplicate and we would unlock nothing. We got lucky. We got another clue. So we just need to be able to complete it and for it to be in a new chunk. Let's see where we're going. Okay, it's a hot and cold step. Now there's a few places where this could be, and I don't think I've unlocked any of those chunks yet. So I think we're going to be going and unlocking a new chunk, boys. Okay, so we felt the strange device and it's going to lead us to a top ice mountain. Let's just have a quick look at that chunk now. So I'm not sure if it's going to unlock the left or the right chunk. Both around equally useful, I would say. We made it to the top of the ice mountain. Now the square that's highlighted by rune light is where we are technically supposed to dig. However, if we click on the strange device to feel it, you can see in the chat box it says this must be the spot. So that means that you don't have to dig on the exact spot that rune light tells you to dig on. Now, because there's actually an area in which we can dig and unlock this casket, we can actually choose which of these 2 chunks we want to unlock. The rules of the account say that whichever chunk we're stood in when the casket is put into our inventory is the one that is unlocked. So this is pretty tough, to be honest. I'm really not sure which one I want. I think that overall, this chunk over here with Goblin Village, the Mind Altar, and the Below Ice Mountain dungeon is going to be slightly more useful. So that's the one that we're going to go for. Let's just dig on the spot. And we have obtained the casket. Let's unlock this chunk. Beautiful, beautiful. Now you might notice that I brought a load of food and a little bit of an armor switch. The reason I did that is that now that we've unlocked this chunk, we are effectively trapped in this small area until we leave. Even though we've unlocked Goblin Village and all this land over here, we can't get to it from where we're standing without going through the forbidden chunk. So what we're going to do is just literally fight some of these ice fiends and see how much combat experience we can get before we leave. So it turns out killing these ice fiends with a bronze crossbow, bronze bolts, and level 8 range is not too great, and they also are dropping literally nothing for us on the ground. So I thought that they dropped easy clues and they had like a basic drop table, so I am a little bit confused as to why they're not dropping anything. And there we go, that's the last kill. So we've unlocked the Western Ice Mountain chunk, so we're going to get out of here because we can't use this chunk right now. But before we do, let's open up the casket and see what we get inside. Let's not forget the spin for good luck. 17 bronze arrows. Are you kidding me? It's worth 68 GP. Okay, alright, let's you and me just forget this ever happened. Alright, we're back in Lumbridge. We don't need to talk about what just happened then. And we're going to finish off the episode with a few more range levels. Well, I just checked my age with hands just because I was kind of curious about it, and look at that, we've completed an easy task in the Lumbridge and Drainer area. I'm also going to kill imps whenever I see them, because we can technically complete the imp catcher quest. All we need is to be able to get back to Drainer Village at some point, so it would be pretty awesome if we could get that done. Alright, another clue. It's a beginner once again, and you've seen me do like so many beginner clue steps this episode, so I'm just going to skip right to the point where we either have to drop it or we unlock a new chunk. That's another drop, unfortunately. We don't have a gold ring or a gold necklace, so on the ground it goes. And as that clue led us into Drainer, I'm actually going to stay here and fight the Dark Wizards instead of men and women in Lumbridge. We do still need runes for when we start training magic, and these guys are pretty weak now. We've got some gear that will help us defend against magic, our leather cowl and the leather chaps. So let's grab a little bit of food out of the bank and get started. Missed the level there, but you can see it in the chat box. That is 15 range. Only 5 more levels until we can wear studded armor. Well, this hasn't been as fast as it could have been if we were using a bit of a better weapon, but here comes level 20 range, and we didn't even get a pop-up in the chat box from that. But no, I'm really happy with that. Level 20 range coming in. We also managed to get level 20 prayer from burying all of the bones. So let's go check out our new gear. Okay, we're starting it off with a little bit of a chap upgrade. We were wearing leather chaps, and now we've got the studded chaps. Beautiful, looking good. And we're going from completely bare-chested to a studded leather body. I don't think I've ever been this happy about such trash gear in my entire life, but just look how good we look. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end the episode for today. Next time we're going to be really buffing the stats and going for some higher tier unlocks. I'd also just like to let you all know that I will be streaming this account on Twitch, so if you fancy hanging out with me on stream, then drop me a follow there. The link is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, you absolute legends. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, guys.